But do I even never comb my hair? So I'll put on this cape. But I hope you guys are having a very good Sunday. Tomorrow is Martha's Day. Um, is any of you guys going for the to pre to is any of you going to be a pilgrim tomorrow? Or is any one of you watching from Namugongo? Ngawatambu Dedda. Yeah? Did you move? Did you move? I had an encounter that I will share a couple of months from today. I can't share today, but and it got me awake, and it's probably the reason why I'm having this broadcast today. So JFK at Mutumba Padi Antonio Random Things, Sentongo Leviticus, and Bino Mugisha. Yeah. So let's wait a little bit for more guys to come onto the broadcast. Are you sure I'm this tall? You guys, I'm actually tall. So, sorry guys, network is kind of internet sometimes surprises me how it decides to perform, and how they keep telling us they have 4G and now they are planning to bring 5G. Yeah, them driving around in their double cabins and Land Cruisers and lying to us that Batua internet is very fast. Airtel calling itself the smartphone network. MTN you animated that chokanga bagamba everywhere you go is MTN. MTN kamaifa yobaka agwawa mukama yamanyi. Chiza Tadeo, Kutosi Nicholas, Eric Chisitu, Cosmas Agaba, Derek Lule. How are you guys? Muri Mutia. Today is a Sunday. Tomorrow is a public holiday. So you could actually say that today and tomorrow are public holidays because some of you guys are not going to go to work tomorrow. Mugena kusigara waka. Me, I'll be driving out for special duties as well. Wait, what's happening here? Yeah, so today I want to be like exploring together. We're going to explore why I think people should be having drivers. Yeah. Of course, if you want to understand why people should, like guys, if you have some money, yeah, and if you have some money, I believe. Hi Eric. And hi Aish Asia Nanyonjo. Hi guys, allow me first of all apologize for yesterday. Yesterday I got quite engaged. And I did intend to get done with work by like 4:30 and do the broadcast by 5. And then we started a meeting, which I thought would be short. And by the time the meeting got done, it was about 6:30. Yeah. So we started the meeting thinking it would be short. Like, you know how you do like a meeting and say, okay, we're going to do this for like 10-20 minutes and then go home. And yeah, 20 minutes turned into 2 hours, and yeah, it went that long. Hi, Joseph Bali Kudembe. Al Rahim Nation, how are you? So, one reason why I think hiring a driver is a very good idea here in Uganda is because Uganda is one of the most corrupt nations in the world. Well, because according to Transparency International, the report, normally they bring reports out in June. So in June 2023, they brought out the report, the 2022 report, and in that report, out of 180 countries, Uganda is 142, with 180 being the most corrupt, one being the least corrupt. So Uganda is 142 in terms of corruption, and that means Uganda is really corrupt because you just take off about 38 nations. Uganda is number 39 in terms of corruption out of 180 countries. And then the corruption will definitely, you have to know that then the corruption goes through law enforcement, it goes into public service, and of course normally they talk about public service and yeah, law enforcement, because so we have three arms of government. We have the executive, we have the parliament, and then we have the the judiciary. So all those three arms of government must be really corrupt for us to be 39 in terms of corruption. Which take it Kubanga, when people are talking about corruption, Uganda is country number 39. That's 2022, the report from by Transparency International. So we have a high level of corruption. And still, according to the Transparency International report 2022, 67% of Ugandans believe that police are involved in corruption. Now, that you can definitely get it when if you go and download this. This report is readily available on the Transparency International website, and then you study about how they came about with their data and all that. But I just wanted to share that. I had an incident with traffic police where a traffic officer asked for money. Of course, they never ask for money directly, and I refused. I ended up coming out of the police station at 9 p.m. because I'm Arthur. And I said, okay, give me a receipt. He received. Of course, I ended up getting a receipt, which is totally okay. And at that moment, I thought to myself, if I had a driver, I think that wouldn't have gotten to that. We both know that couldn't have gotten to that. It would have been a different case. If Arthur had been seated probably somewhere else, not driving, it would be a totally different thing. Maybe it would still be the same. Maybe it wouldn't be. Yeah. But let's try to dig deep into why I think you guys should be. Let me just for example, give you a few statistics. 28% in 2022, police had a report, and the accidents. These are accidents that were reported in 2022. There are 1,225. No, 12,254 accidents reported in 2022. 28% were had borders involved. So if 100 accidents happened in 2022, then 28 accidents had borders involved. Yeah. And then, of course, 3,000 fatalities from accidents, they came from reckless driving. Yeah. Now, these statistics that I'm giving you are very important for you to think about why having a driver might actually be a good idea. Still, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics in 2022 said that we commute on average 1.5 for about 1.5 hours every day. For commuting, we leave home, go to work, leave home, go to 1.5 hours. That's and of course we have 50 hours, 50-hour weeks, 50-hour work weeks, our 50 work hour weeks. You get, and then 500 incidents of carjacking were reported in 2022. Carjacking, when your car gets broken into, you get. So, and then, of course, it says that people that do not drive save up to 1 hour per day. Do you know what that means? That if I'm coming from my home and I'm going to work and I don't drive, let's say I take a border, I save 1 hour. It means instead of 1.5 hours every day, I save an hour. And most people use 3 hours. Like me, I use 3 hours a day just to commute. You guys, we have 1 hour on the broadcast, and of the 1 hour, that 1 hour, I'm literally in between. I'm driving like 5 kilometers from the place we start to the place I'm going. Those are like 5 kilometers, and that's 1 hour normally. Which take it. Can't imagine the other like 1 hour I drive from home to the point where we start the broadcast from. And of course, the Ministry of Work says that Ministry of Works and Transport, 24% of the Uganda road network is on, only 24% is paved. That was in 2022. Only 24% of Ugandan roads are paved. And of course, approximately 60% of rural roads are in need of maintenance. Now, the rural roads they're talking about, even some of you guys where you live, your roads are considered rural roads. So 60% of those roads need maintenance, but they are not getting really maintenance. And so a study by the World Health Organization indicates that reducing stress from driving can lower the risk of hypertension and heart disease by 30%. Like, you know how you be driving on the road, and then there's so many stress factors, especially in Uganda. You're driving, you're late, a traffic officer stops you. And guys, I've been in these situations. I've been in a situation where a traffic officer just parked you to show you that he can park you. You get, eh? He parks you to show you that he can do it. You remember the time that I told you about the traffic officer that told me my number plates were fake, and then he definitely wanted money. I don't bribe. One of the reasons why I gave up on bidding for government projects is because I don't believe in me being like taking corruption forward. So I don't bribe, I don't give money that someone has not really worked for, which so just the act of a traffic officer stopping you and teasing you, because yes, they tease us, we know. I've been stopped by traffic police where I simply asked, "Hi, how are you? May I look at your driver's license?" You give them the driver's license, and then they give it back because they have nothing to say, and then you go your way. I've been through that, and that's totally okay. We think, okay, that should be good. But there are times I've been stopped by traffic police simply to tease you or get money out of you, just to show you power. That alone can stress you. Driving through Kampala, where there are borders, stress. And of course, the World Health Organization says that if you just cut out the stress that is caused by driving, you could reduce your risk of getting heart problems or hypertension by 30%. Now, speaking as a person that had hypertension in 2019, I don't have it anymore. I don't. It went because of exercise. I exercise a lot. And remember in 2021, of course, now this probably some of you will not care, that professional drivers trained in eco-friendly driving can reduce fuel consumption by up to 20%. Now, if your fuel consumption reduces by 20%, you know what that means? That means that even the emissions into the environment reduce. Now, eco-friendly driving, this means that you just drive the right way. You don't over accelerate when you don't have to accelerate. You don't brake unnecessarily, because even the braking itself has its own emissions. And when you over accelerate, it has its own emissions. And this can happen. Every driver can turn into an eco-friendly driver. That comes with experience. The more you drive, the more you learn how to drive properly. The more you learn how to accelerate steadily. The more you learn to not over brake. The more you learn to not speed up when someone is trying to cut into your line and all that. Yeah. So those are some of probably the statistics. Let me just introduce a little more statistics to you. Hi to Sime Eddie, Moses Muwanga. Hi, Kawesi Peter. Kawesi Peter ekibuzo jakimbuza ku lwokutaano. So there are some other statistics that I thought I should introduce to you, and then if there is a reason you don't understand, you probably don't pick why I'm sharing a certain statistic, then you can ask me later on why I talked about it. One, let me try to talk about the reported road traffic crashes between 2015 and 2020 by outcome. Now, fatal, we have three categories. We have fatal, serious, and minor. Yeah? Fatal, serious, minor. The accidents that happened between 2015 and 2020. Fatal accidents in 2020, let's stick to 2020 for now. In 2020, we had accidents where at least one person died. There were 3,269. Now, these are the reported ones. There are those accidents that were not reported, probably. Accidents where maybe someone hits another person in a home, they can keep that quiet, which right? Yeah, there are accidents that happen on the road somewhere, and those people just say police again, and then they just bury their person. There are those accidents that are never reported. Now, this is a report of the accidents reported. This is a statistic from 2020 to 2020. The serious ones, these are serious accidents. Is an accident where at least there is a fracture, there is a serious injury, like a fracture, a bone breaks, which take it. You have to go get probably a skull worked on. 5,803 accidents. And then the minor accidents were 3,177. You realize that the fatal crashes were more than even the serious ones, then they were more than the minor. It means that more accidents kill a lot of people. You get, eh? Of course, no, said the serious ones are more, but the fatal accidents are more than the minors, which means that accidents actually kill. If each of these fatal accidents, one person died, which means in 2020, we lost at least, and a fatal crash might mean that more than one person died, or more than 5 persons died, or more than, like I saw a TikTok video where they were cutting people out of a bus, out of a trailer, and all that. Yeah, so it means that in the 2020, at least 3,269 people died in road accidents, and then at least 5,803 bones were broken in 2020. Yeah, and then the minor ones are these ones. A border guy knocks another person, she falls or he falls, and then there's no serious accident, serious injury. You get it? So serious, we broke about a minimum of 5,803 bones. We killed a minimum of 3,269 people in 2020. Yeah. Now there's another statistic I want you to also take note of. Let's also stick to 2020. Yeah. This one, no, I don't want that. Okay, the number of road accidents by type of vehicle. Now, even a motorcycle is a vehicle for the guys that normally think motorcycles are beneath us. Hi, Africa Carota, Opio Mark High, Solomon don't need a lot. Yeah, but your car is going to have AC. If you're in a hybrid, there's no reason why your windows should be down. So yes, they can survive still. If they survive in Dubai, why would they not survive in Kampala? Motor cars are small cars like Vitz. We have the Mark II, Mark X, the Subaru XT. All those are small cars. Are the motor cars. In 2020, the number of road accidents that involved motor cars were 5,167. Where motorcycles were involved, there are 6,105. Yeah. The light omnibuses, these are like taxis, 1,289. I want you guys to take note of the trend. Light goods vehicles, these are pickups like Obuyongeza, Town S. These are 1,412. Pedocycles is a gari, 479. So we had very few accidents that involved more bicycles. Of course, dual purpose vehicles, these are like, let's say, double cabins and all that, 714. Medium goods vehicles, 84 forward 972. Trailers and semi-trailers, 607. Heavy goods vehicles, there's trucks, 508. Heavy omnibuses, 117. Medium omnibuses, a Costa, 141. Tractors, 49. Pedestrian controlled vehicles, banabavuga ebindazi, 49. Fuel trucks, 92. And then engineering plants, 31. Engineering plants, graders and all that. And when you look at the statistics in 2020, more motorcycles were involved in accidents than small cars. And then after motorcycles, it was our cars that were involved in accidents. What does that tell us? Some of these accidents, and by the way, let me just introduce one other statistic before. Accidents by cause between 2015 and 2020. Let me just stick to 2020 again. Careless driving, which we can all commit by not hiring a driver. I was going to ask why I'm shouting, because I'm doing a broadcast where I'm encouraging you guys who have money. If you have money, hire a driver, a competent driver. Careless driving will include you looking down as you drive, will include you looking at the radio as you drive, which again will include you talking on the phone as you drive, will include talking to someone as you drive, will include looking out the window as you drive, will include driving on your shoulders. That's careless driving. And by the way, careless driving is the leading cause of accidents, even in 2020. In 2020, 5,358 accidents were caused by reckless driving. Yeah? And these are only the reported accidents. The other accidents that were not reported, someone is driving from their home, afuluma ekikomera, ng'alobye n'atomera ekikomera kya neighbor, ekyo bakimalira awo ku kyalo. Tekifuluma kanzimbe ekikomera kyo, ne kiggwera awo. Emmotoka n'agiza mu kikomera kye ne bagikanikira eyo. Ebyo biggwera. There are so many accidents that were not reported in 2020. But of the reported accidents in 2020 were 12,249. But of all those, the biggest percentage of accidents was caused by careless driving. Careless driving and reckless driving are different. Careless driving is you're careless as you drive. Now, the second biggest cause of accidents was reckless driving. Reckless driving is also dangerous driving. Like reckless driving is you driving intentionally. Like you drive badly intentionally. Like, you're not supposed to overtake, and then you overtake. It's a sharp corner, you overtake. Yeah, that's reckless driving. Yeah, and those are two of the biggest causes. So these two causes can all be avoided by hiring a competent driver, a professional driver. Yeah, they can all be avoided by you hiring someone to drive you. For example, if you're patient, hire someone to drive you. If you get distracted, hire someone to drive you. If you have a lot on your mind, because if just you saying Nabadendo was as careless driving, you should not be driving. If you like drinking, hire you a driver. Yeah? If you like going about having fun with chicks in the car, hire someone to drive you. Buy a car that has like a cover here so that you go fooling around in your car and someone is driving you. Careless driving and reckless driving is the leading cause of accidents in Uganda, but that can be avoided still. Now, unknown case, this is hit and run. Those are 191 cases in 2020. Careless pedestrian, that's also a classified, because in the statement we have a statement there were 738. That's also a very good big number. And then passenger, overspeeding, you drive beyond this prescribed speed, 359 accidents. We are talking about the year 2020. And of course, passenger falls from vehicles, those were 108. And under the influence of alcohol, drinks or drugs, those were 48 cases. Obstacles, those were 48. Under the influence actually was 48. The obstacles were 19. The dazzled by lights, the guys that drive kaundos. I found someone, he was clearly driving in full lights. I gave him full lights, he came close, he put in dim, the normal, what you should be driving with. And the moment I was crossing him, like, he put back full lights. Obamaro. And overloading, accidents caused by overloading, they were 87. And then dangerous motor vehicle condition. Now, so some people call it mechanical. If it were mechanical, they would be actually getting me on mechanical. But if they say your tires are, that's not mechanical. If they say your windscreen, that's not mechanical. If a traffic officer gets your moroka yonkurubu, that's not mechanical, that's motor vehicle. Which tegera. So, two of the leading causes of accidents in Uganda will definitely still be careless driving and reckless driving. All these can be avoided if someone hires a driver for their child, for their wives, and all that. Bobo ina mcharawo, tanakaza kubo, nenga atoko yo kumuvuga, mufune driver muvuge. Paka wana akaze kubo, yevuge. Careless driving normally is done by inexperienced drivers. Reckless driving the same. Like me, I can be there and I'm not reckless. I can make judgments because I've been on the road for a very long time. Nzija kambawe statistic ndoze eri statistic eno eri helpful in another way. Zilizo nazonna zibadde kulwaki hiring a driver will help you. Now this particular statistic is about to show you why hiring a driver is good for our country, is good for our economy. This is the number of crimes. I'm just going to stick to 2020. The number of crimes reported in 2020, homicides, this involved someone killing another intentionally. There were 4,460. So we lost 4,460 people in 2020. Now, this homicide is very serious. It's impossible for it to happen and not be reported. But still, we would know. Economic crimes are about 10,000. 10,000, that's a big number. Sex-related offenses, 16,144. Child-related offenses, 9,225. Breakings, menya mu moroka, kumenya mu nyumba, 10,000. Thefts, when it's considered a theft, if you don't get harmed, sometimes you don't even know. Someone takes your thing and you don't even know who took it. That's theft. 41,000. Yeah. And then robberies, they use force. They bring a knife and put it on your neck and they say, give us money or give us these things we got. That's a robbery. And then assaults is when they actually beat you. These are the assaults that we don't really like. But that's an assault. Those were 30,000 in general. And then other crimes, which are not really talked about, which 62,000. Yeah. So, but let's look at the assaults, the robberies, the thefts. We can do the robberies and the thefts. These are normally, and the breakings. So when we tally the thefts, the break-ins, and the assaults, let's say, and the robberies, 88,000 times people stole things that did not belong to them. Do you know why? Sometimes, of course, we are going to start saying abantu ambabira be naturally. We all know that obubi natural, so nobody is born a thief. 88,000 times in 2020, people got robbed, and that was the lockdown, by the way. If you don't remember, people got their stuff stolen either by force or by being beaten, simply because at that time people probably did not have jobs, did not have food and all that. That number can very much increase if things don't change. Now, for you guys that have some money, and I know a number of people that have some money, for you guys that have some money, tewevuga, we want to reduce this number. Every time you hire a driver, you're reducing that number. Emisango gikendera because someone abera satisfied. Umuntu abafuna sente. And now we're going to say abantu abambabye buva mu sayine tata we yali mu. Yes, there are those, but maybe there are those that are only stealing because they don't have jobs. And that we are accumulating money and we're not giving other people opportunities. Guys, thank you for reminding them. Bane guys, mliking a broadcast to gain mass. Dogmeister, hi Joshua. It has 45 degrees. Uganda has 28. Yes, thank you. Alec Isaac Wandera, hi. Yeah. So why should you hire a driver? Now, there are so many things that happen on Ugandan roads that I think you guys should be hiring a driver. One, I find that there are a lot of stress factors that we go through in life. You guys have seen people die on their steering racks. In the past 3 years alone, I've heard of 2 cases. One was a man, the other was a woman. The woman was actually a teacher, and then the man was a doctor. The doctor, yari wa KCCA. Those guys died on their steering wheels. Stress is kuta, and I've heard from some of the medical practitioners I've been able to talk to that abantu abamu abafa abruptly. It's low blood pressure. That low blood pressure can actually just put you out like that. But high blood pressure, at least it takes you out with a fight. But low blood pressure takes you out silently. And I find that ebizibu bye tuyitamu ebingi naddala when you get to when you start accumulating some money, then the pressures on life mount on you. You have responsibilities left, right, and center. People that are relying on you, because if your business doesn't survive, people are not going to have jobs. So because of all those things that happen, the pressure mounts on you, and you're going to be having a lot of stress, a lot of worries. One way for you to actually deal with this is by hiring a driver. Sit here, let someone drive you, get you home safely, amala agende ewuwe. Okitegeera. Then pay them. You have contributed to the economy, you have contributed to someone's family, omwadde sente asobodde okuliisa family ye, naawe akuvuze akutuusizza ewuwo. Okitegeera. Ate naawe otuuse safe and sound. I know kati fe abantu abamu abakulira mu mbeera embi bimu, we feel like, okay, if I give someone a job and then I order them around, maybe I'm not a very good person. But that's how life works. We can't all be equal. If you can hire someone n'omuwa emitwalo 7 ne gimuwoomera n'abeewe ne balya bulungi, people work for even 400,000 nga bavuga ebimotoka ebya bikampuni abatambuza soda biki abamu bafuna emitwalo 4. Kati if you get someone n'omuwa emitwalo 6 ng'omulimu gwe guli gumu gwakuvuga kutwala ku mulimu kunona abaana bo ku ssomero kutwala. Me, I haven't gotten to that level, but I am actually considering it. Mukama bw'anaaba nkwatiddeko sigenda kwevuga. Why? I find that there are some things that we can actually avoid, a lot of things that we can avoid when we hire someone else to drive us. A soccer, you can multitask if someone else is driving you. People like me who are creative, there are times I'm driving, mama bantanakaza kubo bulungi alina permit naye tanakaza bulungi kubo, so I may not be able to trust her to drive me in so many places. So I drive, and then I'm driving and I'm on the way and I have a lot of things that I have to do, and sometimes I go fast just to get home fast and then do some extra work. The past few weeks, nabagamba naddayo okusoma, so I've been doing some work and I end up sleeping at 2 a.m. because I have a lot of things that I have to do up aside from school, and all these things require me to think. So nesanga, okupapa ntuuke waka nsobole okutula ate nkole work. If I had a driver, I would sit back in my seat and be able to actually work on my computer, because majority of the things that we do can be done on the computer. Okitegeera. Ate kati the way the world is going, you can actually put an inverter in your car so that if your laptop is running out of battery, you can plug it in. Some cars themselves have their own inverters until you can plug it in there. So yes, you can multitask as they drive you. One of the reasons why you should be hiring a driver. The other reason why I believe you should hire a driver is we have a lot of bad roads in Uganda. We have a lot of bad potholes in Uganda. And sometimes as a person that drives himself, you may not be as careful as you should be because it's your car. It may, and by the way, the money you save in not giving a driver, ngovuga, you may end up putting it in repairs. I will tell you that I've seen people that are driving other people. They are much more careful than the people themselves would be if they were driving themselves. So driver kuvuga ebiseera ebisinga abeera careful because guno gwe mulimu bw'ayonoona emmotoka omulimu guba tegukyaliwo. So you'll actually protect your property a little more. And then I find that you would also save. There are things that you may not pay attention to because on top of driving yourself, you have all these other things that you're going to be doing. So you may not look at certain things with your car. But when you hire a driver, it's also his job to make sure that the car is in tip-top condition, that it's checked out, water levels are there, oil is good and all that. So I find that you'd actually end up saving some money by having a driver on call. There are times I've been engaged and I work up to like 10 p.m. and then my kids are at school. Yeah. Then those are the times that I appreciated having a car on standby that I can call this dude, you know what, go pick my kids and take them home. So that I continue working. You get it? So yes, you can continue working as well. You know that saving. We have already said that you use 1.5 hours on the road. So if there are ways that you could actually continue working and then your kids go on home and then the driver could come back for you later, then that would be a very good thing for you. Engudombi driver agenda kuzegendereza. The other road users drive really badly. So driver agenda kubegendereza because it's not his car ate guno mulimo. One of his jobs is to keep the car safe. So he will actually try to keep it safe. Then I find that if you hire someone else to drive you, if you hire someone else to drive you, you have time to rest. Like I be driving my kids and Mama Aban in the morning, and they all sleep. Bona, they sleep because they know they're in the right hands. I cannot sleep when Mama Aban is driving me. Not now, at least not yet. Which take it. There are so many people that I would never sleep when they're driving me. Which take it. Now I have a cousin of mine. Yes, neighbor. Na tena yo kweba kototo no kuti no kubanga tunuma. Which I think it's something that works with all drivers. Buli muntu avuze moroka for some time omuntu omulala bwamuvuga ototo tuiza kumaraga ja. But they sleep when I'm driving them because they know they're in the right hands. And when you get a competent driver, you can actually catch up on sleep that you did not get out of your system in the night, or you can take a nap as they drive you. Let's just imagine you're going to Masaka, you're going to check something out, and you have a designated driver. That's his job to drive. Which you can sleep as the driver takes you. Which you sleep as the driver takes you. I find that the most important reason why in Uganda I believe someone should have a driver, and I've seen that this might be the reason why most people hire drivers. You don't want to be engaged in a row with police. You don't want to be engaged in a row with police. And I've realized that when you're driving, it might be totally impossible for you to avoid that. But if someone else is driving you, you sit probably on the passenger side or in the back, it's very easy for you to avoid it. Sometimes there are police officers that they have low self-esteem. They will want to stop you and just show power. And I find that when they get the chance to show power, when they sense weakness, they will crush. They will crush all the juice out of you. So when I've realized that people that have drivers, I've been studying this for some time, I've realized that people that have drivers, especially if you're high net worth, because there are people here that are high net worth. If you're high net worth, driving yourself can be comforting. You like cars and all that. But if you're high net worth, I find that hiring a driver will save you the trouble of going back and forth with these traffic officers. I'll give you an example, and I talked about it already. The time the traffic officer stopped me and he said I had fake number plates. You get? I'm usually very calm, and I was calm on that day because I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. I even opened my laptop to log into. I was late, for God's sake. I was late. And you know what happens? I told this dude, you know what? I'm late. I'm going for work. I was coming to the set. I had to make things ready and all that. The guy said, your number plate is fake. I can even park you. All his friends knew that's a trick he was using. When I did a video on TikTok about that, so many people came out and said, that guy uses that trick. You know, he wasted like 30 minutes of my time claiming my number plates were fake when he knew they were not fake. Now, because I was driving myself, I had to wait and go away with my car. Now, when in times when you're really late and you have a driver, you can actually just get other means of transport because you know your car will get safe to wherever it has to get, saving time, avoiding the roads with the such and shameless traffic officers because there are so many. And of course, I met a lot of friendly traffic officers. And when you meet those friendly traffic officers, they'll tell you, and you know they can't fight each other. The force has to be together. That's how it works. So I find that the biggest reason why you might actually want to drive yourself is to avoid road troubles. Because whenever you're shielding yourself, you're shielding yourself from anything that can go wrong on the road that might cause you trouble unnecessarily. You shield yourself from border guys. You shield yourself from other drivers. You shield yourself from traffic police. Because the fact that 76% from the 2022 report by Transparency International, if 67% of Ugandans believe that traffic police or police is corrupt, that means And you know, 67% of the sample, you know, they didn't ask all Ugandans. If they had asked all Ugandans, it would be totally different. You would have found that 99% totally believe that. But the sample, you might find that some of the people they sampled have never even had an interface with the traffic police or with the traffic with the police office and all that. And the fact that 67% of the sample they had believes police is corrupt, that's big. Because if a president gets 67% with outstanding support, because President Museveni normally gets 51, 52, which take it about 50.8, something like that. But you can imagine 67. If he got 67, bali to the day. Which take it. But you get what I'm saying. 67% believe these guys are corrupt. You know what that means? They will try to get money out of you even when they should not be getting money out of you. They'll threaten you with a receipt even when they know they should not giving you a receipt. You get it? And when you sit somewhere and let someone else drive you, you're shielding yourself against all those problems. Which take it. You know, when the president is moving and then these guys go in front of him in the sides, you know, that's a shield. You hiring a driver is you putting a shield around yourself. In case of a serious accident, driver bamukwata ne bamuteekayo. Now, a fatal accident, like when someone dies, awo batolina kyowooza ogenda ku remand without okitegeera omuntu afudde. And when that happens, I recently did a video on TikTok where I talked about not the reasons for not giving a woman a lift if you find one. And someone shared that 2 weeks ago, a friend of his who drives a motorcycle took a school girl, giving her a lift. The girl fell off the border and unfortunately, she died. The guy is in prison, but he has sold everything. Why? Because he gave a lift. And I find that I still have a soft spot for giving lifts, but I'm going to try and avoid that. And then when you go to that TikTok video where I say don't give lifts, you'll be surprised. So many people have had very, very, very bad experiences with giving lifts. Then there's this guy, he's an Uber driver. He said at 3 a.m. he was dropping someone in crying. And I think they talked. She told him she was going over to Kasese. He drives her to the bus park and even gives her 10K. Just there, a police patrol comes to him and he says, you know what? You had kidnapped someone or something. And then he had trouble. Then there are people that don't really want to share their experiences. I think because their experiences are too traumatic, that they don't want to go back there. And then someone shared how he took one of his neighbors, Kucharo, not really neighbor, but Kucharo, an old man. It was really raining. He found it raining on him. He said, you know what, and Ariwa? Timothy Wondiana Bernardo Dongo, if you are able to hire someone not only in offices, take for a say driver or maid, consider that as their office. Be kind the same way you want to be treated in your workplace. Thank you. Webale nnyo okusomesa eggwanga nze mbuuza kyetaagisa ki okusa stika ku motoka yange. There is actually no regulation yet. Sijja bagamba nti wali regulation. Boba moroka covering everything. It's just an identifier. Then there's no regulation. If it's a small sticker, but if you cover it, then that's a commercial vehicle. You have to go and get licensing for that. I would rather have a driver in Kampala than highways. Chris Fitness, hi. Aloe Joe and Jojo. Mudope Joshua. Onugoba dogamba. Kale kamujeo. Oyo mujeo Antonio. No, you're mujeo. Goza Anthony, hi, how are you? So, you want to create a shield around yourself. And then I've realized when you always have someone doing something for you, they are more careful than you would be. They are more careful. There are things that I don't do. Like we can be at the office and I say, you know what, Jango College, I'm not as careful. Yeah, agizako kubera careful. Okitegeera ate gwe ng'olumu wali badde careful because probably sometimes you have the money to replace it, or you think you are in a lot of hurry. Okitegeera Wabuyi Nelson, how are you? Stanley Benzijawo beba spamming. There are those guys that spam. You don't want to have those guys in the community. I just arrived, guys. Yes, Stanley, Chechiriwo. Yeah. So you guys, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I would hire a driver right now, knowing what I know, seeing what I see. I can tell you that one of the reasons why abantu abali in corporate offices, they are not as bitter as the people that are down this way, is because the people that are in corporate offices, they don't even drive. Some of those guys, they enter office, like if you went to a CEO of like Centenary Bank, he only drives because he wants to. But he's given a car and a driver and fuel. You get? So a person like that, it's very hard for him to see the dark side of this place. It's very hard for him to see the bad things that happen on the road. Because bagenda and the guys in government, especially the top officers, will never know the dark side of things. That's why normally we should be changing the leaders more often. Every 5 years mujeyo yaliyo mutekeyo omulala. Because onagendayo kati amanye bibadde bigenda maasi najjagezaako bitereeza. Okitegeera. But when you have the same people in offices for like 20 years, they lose touch of reality. Beerabira nti someone can actually be oppressed on the road by a traffic officer, low ranking, because omuntu ali common, a low ranking traffic officer amukanga naye ng'omuntu ali in an office like a mayor, traffic officer olumu stopping bwati bwaba mwapita amwerako ne ID ey'oku mulimu, traffic officer n'amanya nti katono simukwatako. Some of them are moving in government cars which never get stopped really. Okujja ng'ekikwekweto ky'amaanyi, they never really get stopped. And they don't know what actually happens on the road. And the guys in the corporate offices, Omiya Yabira Bukoto akolera Lugogo bypass. That person will hardly ever see a traffic officer stop them. You can imagine someone that lives in Bukoto. Aonge wasudiro. Navuga nakirira. Nagenda ku Lugogo bypass. Waliwo ebizimbo bakolera ku Lugogo Muro bakolera. That person drives like 5 kilometers. In a space of 5 kilometers, it's very hard for you to ever interface a traffic officer that is a bully, that teases you and all that. And this is not for all traffic officers. I know some really friendly ones, but there are those bad particles in the traffic office. And me, I find that that's the biggest reason you should actually get a driver. And then, of course, on top of that, you want to shield yourself from border guys. Then you're also going to want to shield yourself from the common people that look at a car as a big achievement, because those are so many. Those guys that believe omuntu kastagulayo ka VTs or omugagga nnyo okitegeera, you're going to shield yourself. They never see you driving, so you can always tell them nange bantwalako munange butwazi, even if it's yours. And then, of course, this is one of the reasons that guys don't actually just build anywhere. One of the reasons why I moved away from town is no mukyalo. You surround yourself with a shield. Kati nze wendi mu community yaffe, nze ndimu omwavu, kati I surrounded myself with a shield. When you surround yourself with people that are doing better than you, first of all, you get motivated and all that. But you, mumoroka yongo in a driver, you're creating a shield around you. Your driver is also security. Abera alert, because gwoli mukama we gwamuwa sente, gwamuwa sente zirisa family ye, agenda kubeereramu nnyo. Of course, the driver will do other things like help you shop, drop your kids and all that, because omulimu gwe gwakuvuga gwe gumuweesa omusaala. So for the guys, and I also wanted to do this broadcast because abantu abamu kumwe, you have a lot of money, oziterese ku account, bw'onoofa bank eyinza n'okuzitwala, family yo ntazifuna, naye ng'ate sente ezo waliwo abavubuka bangi bambi abatalina mirimu, naye ng'omuvubuka alina pamiti yagituddeko emyaka kati gigenda mu 10, naye nga talina kyalya. You could you could probably give an opportunity to someone else to also earn part of that money. And I'm telling you, every time I let go of certain work, more money comes my way. Nze simanyi Katonda oba akikola atya. I think I concentrate more on the things that I do better, and then more money comes because I do those things better than the other things. Kati okuvuga is not something that we should be celebrating. Bw'oba oyagala nnyo okuvuga, you can drive on weekends. N'ovuga family n'ogitwala ku beach, but especially during the weekdays ng'ogenda ku mulimu, get it in the mood of like, okay, I'm going to work, sit in the car, bakuvuge, concentrate on whatever you're concentrating on. Okitegeera. And you realize that you have let go of a task that you should not be doing. So right now, you get the time to actually concentrate on enyumba yange gyenzimba eri abapangisa nteekemu design ki, mbawe amenities ki endala zenyina. You get it? I think that's why abantu abagaggawala ne bava mu bintu ebimu ebitabayamba nga kati kusiiga nyumba sikyabisiiga, ebintu ebimu bababba naye ate nesente sigala zeeyongera because the things that are not important abigaba. Kati bino byakola ebiri important byasobolera ddala ate nebidabulinga sente ze byali byadde bikola. Okitegeera. So whenever you can hire someone to drive you around, you guys are very well, ne mujja ne mbeerako wano like a week or two, get someone, hire a driver. Omuntu oyo agenda kukusabira emikisa naye ate agenda kukusevinga bingi. You don't, ojja kuba tovuga. You remember the time that I was on a set all night and then I drove nga nsumagira. I'm not ever going to do that again. Right now I have two drivers on call. If I ever have to be on set all night, the next morning I have someone that will drive that kanga yeye base. Okitegeera. I've realized there's so much a bad thing could have happened that day. It did not happen, and thank God. But that day, something bad would have happened simply because I avoided hiring a driver. On this broadcast, we are 26. If by God's grace, we can all have a lot of money to be able to hire drivers. You know how many people are getting employment because of us? 26. That's 26 less people unemployed. So for you guys that could actually afford, some of you guys are going to come back from abroad for some time. Mugenda kujja obereke Kampala okumala omwezi gumu, ogwo omwezi gumale ng'owadde omuntu omulala omulimu. Don't be in a hurry to buy a car ng'ogenda beerawo omwezi gumu. Come, say I need a driver and a car to drive me around. What's your rate? Okitegeera. Bw'oba oyina emmoloka ewaka, let someone else drive you. Besides, n'envuga y'e Kampala erumu ebe oba gyerabidde n'amakubo oba ogeerabidde. You want to get someone that knows the roads, that knows the potholes, that knows the officers, how to handle them. Oleme kutuuka ng'oleeta olugezigezi lw'ebweru. Nze nyinamuko ku lugezigezi lw'ebweru nange. Wadde ndudde ogendayo naye nyinamu ku lugezigezi lw'ebweru. Sirikale akwata n'omugani kati amateeka agagamba kino. Abasirikale bawo tebaagala mmanya mateeka. They know how to interpret the laws in different ways. So you want to be very careful. Let me see. Bananga bakatuuka, how are you? Naye era n'okusiibula kutuuse tubuzayo eddakiika 6. Stanley, yes. Abe kyekiriwo. Waiting for this topic, but it's good I'm here. Yes, Sisemba Gambe, Arthur Sienta, Romeo, and Ractis, and Paso Sete. Which car is more comfortable? Those cars are the same. Some give you more space, others give you size, others give you... But guys, comfort starts from here, I'm telling you. Comfort starts from here. Me, I find that most SUVs are not comfortable. That I can tell you. And I find that most sedans are more comfortable than, especially the Coronas, because Mark 2s are Coronas, Mark X is a Corona. Coronas are comfortable. Any Toyota that you'll see that has the word Corona, that's like epitome of comfort. Corona. Driving in Kampala is hectic, but I think it also depends on how you love a car as your own thing that you love, and hence it will prompt you driving it yourself because you want to feel the power of the engine. Nathan Timothy Kisa, how are you? Stanley, I love the car. I love myself. I love cars, but I think I've gotten to a point. I don't know because I think I've reached a point in my life where I no longer drive the car because I love cars, definitely, I do. But I don't drive the distances I drive every day. I don't drive the distances because I want to feel the power or I want to feel the comfort. I drive because I have to. I drive because I have to. I have to drive my kids to school. I have to drive myself to work, and I can't afford a driver. But if I could afford a driver, I would drive only when necessary. I would drive only when necessary. I love cars, and I'm doing a course on automotive engineering, automotive fixing or something. But I'm not going to become a mechanic. No, I'm not. I love cars, but then I'm not going to fix cars. Still, my mechanics will have jobs from me, but I love cars. So yes, you could still love your car and still feel the power when you're seated in the passenger seat. And abasajja aba bebavuga ebiseera ebisinga their life gets better. I don't know. It goes back to you concentrating on the things you do better. You guys abali e Bulaaya, I don't know if it also applies that omuntu bwagenda e Bulaaya nga alinya tram, alinya train, alinya Ubers, their lives considerably gets much more better during that time than when they actually buy. Bwamala okugula emmotoka, life slows down a little bit because obudde omu abumalira mu kuvuga mmotoka. Naye ng'ate luli bwe yatuulanga mu tram train asobola okujja ku computer yo tabbu ye n'akola. I have this very big computer and I'm getting rid of it, I think, this coming week. I'm going to get myself a small computer. This will be reserved for editing because I want to have something that someone is driving me, I just sit in my car and do work. I think, I don't know if mwabali ebweru muyinza okungamba. Is it true that boba akagenda ebweru, when you're not driving, you take the tram, you take the train, you take Ubers, you take the bus, the life moves a little bit faster for you than when you actually buy a car? Finally, when you buy a car, okujja mu emotoka muokolera. But when you finally buy a car, things start slowing down a little bit. Nebitandika okufuna momentum. Okitegeera, does it apply? Life is a little bit is not active, guys. It's not really productive. So we might love cars, we should buy the cars we love, but whenever you can afford, I find that put a shield around you. Wetekeko olukomera. Sometimes bagenda kugamba mbu bajja kugamba mbu pray, I will give you a shield. But even the wisdom of knowing that hiring a driver is actually creating a shield around yourself is also wisdom that prayer has given you. So create a shield around you. Ngabo muzimbe ku nyumba zamwe, you're creating a shield. I think I feel safer nga nyina ekikomera ku nyumba yange than when I don't. I lose less things. Ebintu okuva najja wano wembeera, ebintu bye nakafiirwa nabifiirwa mulimu abazimbi mu kikomera. Sifunangako omuntu ayingira mu kikomera kyange nabbamu bintu n'abifulumya. Okitegeera. So buli bwe weteekako olukomera n'ennyumba yennyini ba weetaddeko olukomera. Abamu Arthur, we want to enjoy our cars because we have them. So, well, it's a person who buys a Ferrari, he would want to drive it himself, probably because he likes it so much. Definitely. And it's totally no problem if you want to enjoy it. But I found that hiring a driver, especially as we advance, businesses zikula, sometimes you might actually want to do that. There are times I wish I could actually afford a driver. Sometimes, not all the time, but there are times I wish I could. Like you see, like yesterday, I got done with the rehearsal and then I had a very important meeting and I'm glad I had it. And then at that time, of course, my kids were not at school. Yeah, my kids were not at school. My kids were not at school. My kids were not. So it was okay. But the times I have meetings, the times I have class up to like 9 p.m. and then I have to, sometimes I go with my kids and they stay in the car, they wait for me to come out of class. Those are the times that I wish I could actually have a driver, because driver and then I find it looks like it's luxurious, but actually when you make a lot more money someone here said $250,000 per month, he makes more than 10 million a month. That person can actually afford to hire a driver. And I'm going to, in interviews that I'm planning, I'll get someone that actually has lived both lives of driving themselves and actually hiring a driver. I just comparing that to what changed when they started getting someone to drive them. I'm pretty sure things changed. Nalimbaka India when I was 16 years. And I remember Charles James Senkubugefe Mubaka Mwitanga SPD, special programs director. And he used to have a driver. A driver amuvuga namuja ku Radio Simba namuleta ku Pride Theatre namuvuga namutwala mu meetings. That time Bakaimbira was fast. Bakaimbira was moving at a speed that you don't even know. And SPD natandika okwevuga. And I'm telling you, we both know where Bakaimbira ended up. I find that buli wogabako ku mirimu egimu nze ngaba kati emirimu egimu ntandise okugigaba because I find that obulamu bugenda bulongooka buli wogabako ku mirimu egimu okitegeera. Prius, I don't know, but you should not be buying a 2007 Prius. You should be buying 2010 models now. Yes, Naroga, Ogamba otya Martha. For me here in Qatar, having a car actually makes life easier since you are not pressured on following a scheduled time for a train or bus, and having a car is cheaper than using a taxi or Uber. Are you sure? In Kampala, I don't really think having a car is cheaper than Uber, especially if you live in the city. And I'm sure majority of you guys live in the city, right? It's us people that live outside the city where having a car can be cheaper than Uber. But yes, Odongo, you can still have a car and still hire a driver. Those are two things. You can have a car and also hire a driver. And in those circumstances, a driver will definitely make life very easy for you. And I'm thinking, the more our businesses grow katifengaba vubuka, the more we should actually think of giving away those tasks. No zigaba. Some of the tasks that took me time to know that actually is on task at no zigaba, nze nakula mumbeda nga nde yoleza buli chimwe. But it took me time to know that okay, you can actually bring someone else na yuzengo yezo. Okitegeera because kati faba mugeji yafe tugisasula ine wente nyumba ojimala mpola, so you cannot really use a washing machine, so you have to actually hire someone nebobera nayo ja kwesanga pressure y'amazzi joina temala, so you actually have to bring someone ayuzengo. It took me time to know nti okuleeta omuntu n'omusasula ayuzengo ezo sikumujoga. Okitegeera okuleeta omuntu asiimule office yo sikumujoga, ezo sente azeetaaga ate gwazirina. Katufa bakwira mu embeera ey'okuba nti eva ffe twabanga tukola egyo emirimu because we could not afford. So it takes time for you to sit down properly with you. But say, Council Patrick, after me, I did car hire, but some vehicles have issues which owners don't tell you. And when you return a car, you pay additional money to fix the problem. Council Patrick, you don't have to hire. Buy a car and then hire a driver. Now, like a lawyer like you can, so you guys saw the lawyer that was, it's really sad. You guys saw a lawyer that was hacked by Kamuzika. You know, you've heard of that, Council Patrick. Eh? I think it's because of a land wrangle, right? It's because of a land wrangle. And then even the RDC who said, I'm going to arrest the people that did this, hacker was banned. Now, people like you, Council Patrick, whenever you're dealing with a high-profile case, you guys have you wondered why judges and all those guys are given money till they die? They don't. The government doesn't want a judge to be biased because they have been given a lot of money. If I'm a judge and I know that my needs will be taken care of for the rest of my life, whether I'm working or not, my kids will go to school, whether I retire or not, my maid will be paid for, whether I what fuel is going to be bought by the government, I will judge cases very fairly, regardless of who is involved. Now, if I know that I'm also going to have in maximum security as long as I'm in office, I'll still be a very good person as I judge. That's why me, of course, now we have the problem of corruption. If corruption did not exist, then I think we would be much more happier with judges. We are corrupt to the extent that there's even this saying that I think the best lawyer is the one that knows the judge, not the one that knows the law. And sometimes I feel like I'm proud to be American. I'm not American, but I'm proud of Americans because of the way they are handled. Of course, America is not perfect, but some of the things they do, I wish they could do. So, Council Patrick, the moment you start handling those big profile cases, get yourself a driver. And get yourself a driver that has a bit of security training until he can sense danger and stuff like that. And then someone is going to say neka tugwe athoro fena tunagaggawala mugenda gaggawala bagayi bange mugenda gaggawala ate you'll be surprised for generation ya for the millennials tenafunamu bagagga oba bantu bali successful betugenda kugira nga tebaliko backing batono nnyo abatalina backing batono. Most of the successful guys we know have a lot of backing. So some of you guys that are actually working from the ground up, some of you guys are going to be really successful. And when you get that success, share your success with some other guys by hiring people that should be doing stuff for you, assistants, drivers, like handy guys and all stuff that which take it. So, but don't hire cars. Buy and you guys that are returning from abroad. Driver. Do you know what that saves you? It saves you the guy saying temotoka yangu wachwala nga namukino driver uwe kati ata nagamba ati anti gowa jisenga omuntu ajivuga uwe. So if you guys are coming back from abroad and you're taking what I've said, when you hire a car that comes with a driver, you're still giving a driver a job. You're just not the one paying them directly. Ochitegeera kale Pade Mutumba, Antonio Random Things, JFK Art Sentongo Levitkas, Bino Mugisha, Chiza Tadeo VIP, Kutotsi Nicholas, Eric Chisitu, Cosmas Agaba, Derek Lule, Isaiah Nanyonjo, Malema Eric, Joseph Bali Kudembe, Al Rahim Nation, Moses Mwanga, Tusime A, Council Patrick Asiku, Kawesi Peter, Opio Mark, Africa Karota, Solomon's Chisembo, yeah. Sechanzi Tone Mugalasi Joshua Mixed Farm, Dugmeister, Alec Isaac Wandera, yes, Timothy Wodiana, Bernard Odongo, Sembalirwa Frank, Kriston Twijuche, Lubura Chris Fitness, Aloyo Joan Jojo, Mudo Pe Joshua, Gonza Anthony, yes. Nabo bena blokinze member blokinze temporarily bajja kudanga tebatu spamminga. Stanley Chigozi, yes. Nathan Timothy Kisa, Martha Naloga, Bernard Odongo Nakumaze Kaiwa Benjamin, yes. And then Patrick Mwamule, yes guys. Ambasibly, for any reason, for whatever reason that you would think that maybe I should not hire a driver, let me give you the reasons again. One, you put a shield on yourself, definitely. You avoid instances where you're going to hassle with the traffic officer or any kind of officer because you're not driving, so they cannot engage you. Don't engage them. Secondly, the people that drive cars that are not theirs are much more careful on the road. You will avoid. Statistics I've read have shown that majority of the accidents on the Ugandan roads are caused by careless driving and reckless driving. You're going to definitely avoid that. And careless driving can be as simple as you changing your radio station as you drive. It can be as simple as you abusing another road user. That's careless driving. You save a lot of trouble. You save yourself a lot of trouble. Katika mbawe example ndali munga bwengenda okwambusenda bira mukulu mukulu abonye Windows app and using AC. AC will increase consumption of your car. Actually, it doesn't even. People have been saying it increases by 20%. It doesn't increase by 20%. It maybe increases by like 5%. But that 5% saves you a lot. From that day, my windows are up. And just like that, I lost 1.2 million shillings. Or send everyone knows that you're saving money, but you're not. So having a driver also could save your life one day, which take it. But also as you're hiring people, hire people that probably have gone through if you decide to hire someone and you're going to give them a job, defensive driving should be a requirement. You should hire someone that has a permit that has been on the road for probably like 5 years. Someone that has experience driving like manual cars and all that. Someone that has other cars added in the permit advantageous. Nenga chonache chiri nti you save yourself the trouble, you save other road users the trouble, you get more time to do the things that you can do on the way, you get more time to rest. We say 3 hours at night, then you can sleep an extra hour if your commute is 1 hour, and then you have someone that can run errands for you because their job is to drive. Of course, my job description maybe we got guys. May God bless you today evening. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Don't drink and drive. Don't be reckless with your life, because at the end of the day, Banagi, guys, we lost someone. Men, John, the marketer, he was one of the leading digital marketers, by the way. People in the digital marketing space all looked up to him. Guys, if you're going through one, don't be alone. Talk to someone. And I know he has meant to judging, but talk to someone. Zenabagamba some of my depression egwera wano. Live broadcast. Bwe mpita mu kintu bwe ntinezija ne nkyogera ko lumu nkyogera nga namwe temutegedde nga nkiyitamu nga ngenda. I think that's one reason why I maybe I will not maybe I'll not be depressed that way. But whatever you do as a man, whatever you're going through, please talk to someone. Get someone you can trust. Nze ninayo cousin wange omu, I talk to them and I know I'm safe. Like whatever I say won't go. Like men, we are really secretive. So sometimes we don't want to let out our fears. Sometimes we don't want to tell people what hurt us. But please talk to someone. Talk to someone. Kijja kuyambako okugoba the troubles that could probably lead to heart attacks, things that will lead to you dropping yourself from a high building. Oyo omusajja mumulaba teyagudde because of money troubles. Teyesse because he did not have money. Oyo guy bambi yessenga ebizibu biri emotional bya bwongo, things that could be solved by talking to someone, but because there was no one to talk to, probably he believed there was no one to talk to. Yes, so talk to someone. You can text me anonymously if you have no one to talk to. Get a number that is probably private. Text me and just pour out your heart. I will advise you for free. Yes, there is a prompt that says if you're texting me because of I'll charge consultation, but make it clear it's not about consultation. I just need someone to talk to. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, don't introduce yourself. Give yourself a fictitious name. I will talk to you and trust me, I'll make you feel better. So don't kill yourself. Don't commit suicide, guys. May God bless you. See you tomorrow. Ciao.